We just want you to know, life isn't fun unless you're doing it on purpose. And when you are doing it on purpose, then it feels to you, and it is exactly this way, that the entire universe is backing you up, wrapping you with a blanket of well-being, always, always there to deliver to you, not just generally what you want, but specifically what you want on every subject. You get to carve it out. You get to look through the catalogs of life. You get to sift and sort and throw into your vortex. And then, friends, you get to vibrationally tune yourself to the frequency of who you are, and you get to experience those two powerful representations of the frequency that you have accomplished. The manifestation and the wonderful feeling of expansion as it is unfolding. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. We see it as our best value to you, to keep you on your signal of what you are wanting. We will listen to you briefly about whatever it is you want to talk about. But you're going to discover we are not very excited about assisting you in continuing to build the pathways and the thoughtways and constructing the process toward things that you do not want. There is just no justification, there is no value, there is no reason to spend any time in explanation of what you do not want. Because in all that you've been living, you've created a vortex of accomplishment that is vibrationally accurate and is in real time. In other words, right here and now, the vibration of who you have become is active and available to us and to you. If you are in Australia right now, it is tomorrow. That's so strange. Jerry and Esther just love that odd feeling of being in Australia and calling back to the office in Texas and saying, we are living your future. It's really good. You're going to like it when you get there. And of course, that's not accurate, is it? Because whether it is Saturday in California and Sunday in Australia, is still now. And whether it is physically manifesting as it is with you in your magnificent bodies, or non-physically understood as it is with us from this perspective of source energy, is still now. And whether it is your vortex that is a vibrational gathering of cooperative components, whether you can see it or not, is still now. We want you to train yourself to the vibrational eyes that only your emotional understanding will give you. We want you to follow the path of what you feel rather than the path of what you see. We want you to be deliberate about your thinking and speaking and blogging yourself into vibrational alignment with who you are. What do you want to talk about? We'll take thought beyond what it has been before. It is certain we can feel who you are. Be playful about it. Don't worry if we don't call you to the chair. Everyone who sits here is in the process of helping you to know what it is you want to know. Every subject that is active within you is understood by us, and we will address every single one of them fully. Begin right here. Do you like knowing that you're vibrational? Yes. Do you like the idea of your vortex, who is all that you are, beating a signal that is so powerful that if you will allow it, it will train you into the frequency of it? Do you know what will happen when you allow your vortex to train you upward? Things that you want will manifest. And do you know what is the only thing that is keeping you from allowing your vortex to train you upward? Attention to unwanted things, that's all. If you'll stop doing that thing you do, your vortex will have its way with you. And when it does, you will like it. So, if you've been listening to us for a while, we've been talking to you endlessly about ways that you can focus toward what you want. Now, we know that sometimes it's not very meaty or interesting to think about what you want when what you don't want is so vivid. But we want to demonstrate here at the beginning of this gathering in a way that you will really understand. It will help you to understand everything that unfolds later. It will help you understand many of the conversations that we're going to have today with people who are sitting in the hot seat. We want you to understand how this powerful law of attraction and this construction of thought works. So, it's easy to understand that there are things that you don't want, and it's relatively easy to understand that the clearer you are about what you don't want, the clearer you are about what you do want. But the thing that is tricky is that if you have been over time or even over a brief amount of time intensely, if you've been specifically, and intensity and specificity are the same things. In other words, the more attention you give, the more specific you get. And the more specific you are, then the more powerful your point of attraction is. Let's say that someone did something that bothered you, and you noticed it. It bothered you. You took the hit. You didn't like it. But you didn't leave it there. You thought about it longer. In fact, you stewed over it. You brooded over it. You pondered it. You seethed over it. You thought about it. You felt the offness of it. Initially, you felt the I don't want thisness of it. But you didn't leave it there because you have forgotten how powerful you are, and you've forgotten about the construction of these pathways. So you thought about it and you stewed about it. And as you stewed about it, the first thing that happened is every other thing that that person has ever done that's sort of like that begins to come to your mind, because law of attraction is gathering up all the cooperative components. So everything they've ever done that was ever even a little bit like that come to your mind, and now you're justified. You explain to yourself and some innocent bystander that walks into your experience, I'm not making this stuff up. You say, I'm not making this up. And then the next thing that happens is law of attraction reaches further than just in your thought ways. It reaches out into the environment that surrounds you and brings to you the cooperative components of other people who have that same issue active in their vibration. And now you've got a real festival going. Now you're having conversations. So now what we're getting at is something that started out maybe sort of general has now become more and more and more and more and more and more and more specific. And it's gathering power, not because it in and of itself is a powerful thing, but by your attention to it. When we say something gathers power, what we're really talking about is the construction of thought waves power, because there are a lot of things that are powerful out there that if they're not active in your vibration, they're not going to show themselves to you at all. And so it doesn't matter how powerful they are. There's no law of assertion in this universe. Nothing can come after you. You got to be a cooperative component to each and everything that comes into your experience every single time. And if it's not active in your vibration, doesn't matter how big and bad and awful it seems to others who are engaged in it, it will not touch you in any way. It's law. Law of attraction will not bring it to you. So you've got this active thing going on, and as it's active, you're feeling it, and the more you think about it, the more specific it gets. So here's the thing that we want you to hear. You started out with a sort of general negative thing, but because you were not diligent about your thought, or maybe even knowledgeable about the power of your thought, you focused on it, and you got increasingly specific about this thing that you do not want. And as you got increasingly specific about this thing you do not want, it gained power. It gained attraction power to you. So now you really know what you don't want. So then some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, non-physical source energy shows up in your experience and says, you create your own reality. And you really want to think about what you want. And when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And if you've got something really specifically, therefore really powerful going on in your experience, your response to us is you would like to punch our lights out, because you can't all of a sudden get specifically positive when you've been specifically negative. So the point that we're making, that we really want you to hear, is you constructed a pathway that's really dishing out the goods to you. And the more it dishes them out, the more justified you feel in talking about them, in explaining them, in observing them, in blogging about them, in going to those intervention places about them. In other words, the more you don't want it, the bigger it gets. The bigger it gets, the more it comes. The more it comes, the more you give your attention to it. The more you give your attention to it, the bigger it gets. The bigger it gets, the more it comes, because you've built the pathways. You get what the vortex is? Have you been hearing about it enough, or do you want us to warm you up about it? So you were source energy before you came into this physical body. Part of you came here into this physical body, but the larger part of you remains non-physical in your vortex. The larger part of you is pure positive energy. Pure positive energy meaning no resistance in it whatsoever. No grouchiness, no orneriness, no fear, no trepidation. Just pure positive energy of knowing who you are. So here you come into this physical body and you mix it up and you know what you don't want and you know what you do want. And you continue to send these rockets of desire, these rockets of expansion to this non-physical part of you who keeps up with each and every rocket. So the longer you live in your physical body, the more beautiful this vortex version of you becomes. The more refined, the more clear, the more expanded, the more exhilarated, the more expansive is the word that we love the most about it, the more joyful. In other words, through what you are living, you are causing expansion of this non-physical part of you. A non-physical part of you that you want to keep up with, but you can't keep completely up with, not like the inner being within you does. But it's your goal to keep up with that version of you because this is the true version of you. This is the expanded version of you. This is the part of you that's weller than you were before you got sick, and more prosperous than you were before you didn't have enough money, and more secure before you became insecure. In other words, this is the expanded version of that which you are. So this vortex version, this vortex part of you, you can never get away from it. You can never separate yourself from it. And really, we want to say to you, you can never be unaware of it because it pulses as the strongest vibration of that which is you. It is the strongest vibrational core of that which is you. So it's pulsing all the time, or vibrating all the time, or being all the time, offering its realness, its wholeness to you all the time. And here you are, still doing your job, mixing it up, knowing what you don't want, exploring the details of life, and living the manifestations that represent the relationship between all that life has caused you to ask for and where you are vibrationally in the moment. So, for example, let's say that you've been having one of those moments that we were describing where you're feeling irritation or orneriness or resentment, whatever it is, and in the process expanding the vortex. And let's say that you're having a conversation with someone. It evolved from your awareness of it to your venting about it. You want to explain it to someone else. You might send out an email blast. But you're having the feeling and you'd like to share some of your pain with someone else. So now you're venting it. And so now that you're talking about it, it's even more active in your experience than it was before. Now what's most interesting, and this is what we really want you to begin watching for moment by moment from this moment in your life forward. So now that whatever it is has you activated about it, now watch the manifestations that are right on the heels of it. Watch how the next person that you talk to gives you, no matter who they are and no matter where they are on the emotional scale, as they come into your experience, they are going to reflect back to you in manifestation right here and now, something that represents what you're feeling. A manifestation. This is the thing that we think is so interesting. A manifestation. So they represent back to you. In other words, you could get them talking pretty good on what's bothering you. They're all queued up for it. And you're sucking it from them. Now, let's say you don't want that from them. What you want is reassurance. What you want is positive feedback. You don't want negative commentary on where you are. You would prefer something far different from that. But you can't get it because your point of attraction is already been established by the conversation that you've set into motion. So maybe you've been understanding manifestation in a clearer way than we are depicting here. But we want to point out to you that your manifestations, while they are about your cars and houses and relationships, and they are about the big things, and they are about the things that are on your asset side of your profit and loss statement, and they are about all of that. What the manifestations are that we're really talking about is What are you right now evoking from that one and that one and that one and that one and that one? What are you manifesting in traffic? Cooperation or irritation? What are you manifesting at the front desk of a hotel? Cooperation, sweet smile, irritation? What are you manifesting? What are you manifesting? What are you manifesting? And the thing that we want you to hear is that what is does not mean diddly squat, in the sense that it doesn't matter if a hotel is disorganized. It doesn't matter if there's a condition in your physical body that you don't want. What is irrelevant. It is irrelevant. It is irrelevant because what is only the snapshot of your practiced vibration, and what is relevant.